Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Mindset and Muscle podcast. I'm your host, Keshi, and today's episode is going to be super short, or at least I hope so, because it's like 9:22, which is past my bedtime already, and I just got home from the gym, so I have to like shower and like wind down and stuff like that before bed, to wake up at 5:15 tomorrow. But so I wasn't even gonna post an episode this week. What happened is that I'm really trying to find the day that works best for my schedule in terms of filming an episode and also posting. Ideally, I would have filmed like 3 to 4, like filmed all the episodes for the month, and then I just have to edit it and then kind of post it or schedule it to go out on like every Thursday or things like that. But I've been a little bit behind in terms of filming, and for example, this Thursday I have a guest coming on to record a podcast, and so I won't have, obviously I won't have time to edit it for Thursday, but also I don't have another episode that's already ready for that Thursday. And that happened like 2 to 3 times. So then I decided to just move the day maybe to like Sunday or Monday. I'm still trying to find which day works best, because the weekend gives me like all day to kind of be able to film it and things like that. But sometimes the weekends there's trips, or I don't know, things happen, life gets in the way. But I still want to be able to, ideally, once I get everything set in terms of the days and the schedule, to not be missing any weeks, because what I'm gonna be talking about today is a little bit related, but what I want to talk about is basically just like it's not like it's never the right time. We just have to make time, and it's the same for me. And it's the same about this content. So while I was driving back from the gym, I thought, you know what, like I can't keep doing this. I have to keep the promises I make to myself and to other people in my case. So I do want this podcast to go out. So that one is going to be, instead of like the Monday, like yesterday, it's going out today, Tuesday, but still it's better than nothing. It's better than just skipping it altogether. So it's just going to be a small episode. I did want to talk about burnout, but I don't want to rush through an episode about burnout. And also, it feels really weird to talk about it when I'm staying up a little bit later to actually film that, because then that's one of the things that might lead to burnout. But I do want to talk about burnout at some point, maybe in a couple of weeks or so. But for now, I thought, what is something that I don't really need to prepare anything about that I already could talk about for either minutes, summarize, or hours if I needed to? And I came up with making time, or finding the time to do something that you need to do in your life, not just something that you want to do, but something that you need to do. And that obviously applies to your health and fitness, and I'm going to be talking more about that. But like in my case, it's also health and fitness, but at the same time it could be my business. At the same time it could be family and friends, or just whatever, like different little buckets that I have and that you have as well, that we have to prioritize. Now I'm going to be really focusing on the health and fitness aspect of it, obviously, because I'm a nutrition and fitness coach. If you didn't know that already, well, hello. I am a nutrition and fitness coach, and a lot of people I talk to tell me now is just not the right time. Now's not the right time for me to try to go on a diet and try to lose weight. Now's not the right time for me to make my own meal plan, or follow a meal plan, or track my macros, or eat healthy, or just whatever, like insert goal or whatever you need to do. So now it's just not the right time. It's like super busy, or I don't have the money, or I don't have like the energy right now. But like there's obviously lots of reasons as to why it makes, or as to what makes it difficult for us to do something that we know we need to do right now. But a big part of it is just having it on, like, basically on your list of priorities. Where is it? That's kind of what I wanted to allure to. See, that's the thing with not editing and also not like scripting before, like planning before, is that sometimes I can't find words that I need to. But anyway, So it needs to be on your like maybe top 3 list of priorities for you to even put time and effort into it. Something like losing weight. It's not gonna just happen like this, and it's not just gonna happen randomly. Like, it's not just gonna fall into your lap. Oh, the weight loss, like it just happened. Probably not. You will have to put time and energy and effort into it, or even if you want to build muscle, even more, I would say, more effort in the sense of like going to the gym and like actually getting those like really hard workouts in. But just any health and fitness goals that you have, you will have to allocate time for it. You will have to put in effort and energy and be like not random with it. You have to have a plan, which is why also having a coach is great. But just in general, you have to not go into it blind. Now, in terms of making the time or not, let's talk about being busy as like the main thing. Most people are busy. But the thing is, when are we not? When are we not busy? Like, I don't really talk to people often where they're like, oh yeah, everything's great, like super relaxing or whatever. Everybody's busy. Everybody I talk to is always super busy with everything. Now, this could be in different categories. It could be right now I'm like, oh, I'm super busy. I don't have any time at all because I have like work or like the business or the gym, and put in like family and trying to put my family and my boyfriend, prioritizing them and quality time with them and things like that. So I'm adding all of those buckets of priorities for me and I'm super busy. Great. But another person, it could be like, oh, I'm a new mom, so I'm like super busy. Like most like their buckets might even be like less, but then it's like taking more time. So I'm a new mom, so like that's like really like my days are packed because of that, of my child. Okay. Another person might be a nurse and they're super busy because they work long hours or things like that. Now, in all those things, why do you think, I guess like if you're a new mom, like you can say like the kid will grow up, but still then, as like we all know moms in general and how much work they put in for everything. Do moms usually get like not busy? Like I don't think so. Like moms are usually busy. So just think of all these different scenarios and think about your busy, like what does that look like for you, and then think about your goal, your health and fitness goals. It could be, again, I'm taking an example, losing 20 pounds or whatever it is. How long have you had this goal? And then look back at, let's just say it was like a year or 2 years. Now within those 2 years, when were you not busy? If you are right now, sometimes what even happens is we get busier as life goes. So then we think, actually, if I had started like last year, that period was less busy than I am right now. But you know, maybe what happens is you learn to deal with how busy that was and then you add on more. Whatever it is, all I want to really say, and this is going even longer than I guess I even need to, but sometimes it frustrates me a little bit that people just use being busy as an excuse to not put in the work. Now, I don't say this to just say, oh, come work with me, and stop using being busy as an excuse or something, or that it never has its place. What I mean is really like, you don't, even if you don't want to work with a coach, that's totally fine. You can do it on your own. But stop using I'm busy for just procrastinating. That's what I mean. Because you're always going to be, I'm using this word busy so much, but you're always going to have a lot of things on your plate. You have to learn to prioritize, and that's totally up to you. And again, if, for example, my boyfriend, like losing weight is definitely not a priority for him. He doesn't have any weight to lose at all. He's like one of the fittest person I know. So for him, like, okay, maybe that's a bad example because health and fitness is still very important to him. But let's just say like losing weight per se, like that's not going to be something that he will like need to think about. Or even if he says, let's just say he wanted to cut and get like even leaner, let's just say, but that's not something that is really like on his mind on a day-to-day basis. Like he might just like think about it once when he's like, oh, I want to have like a photo shoot and be like completely shredded. I don't know. um that again, that's just a wrong example. It's just too fit for that. But what I guess what I mean is that if you have something that you're like, oh, I guess it would be good that I did. For example, okay, that's a better example. For me, if I say, oh, I want to eventually like do a bodybuilding show, for example, and I'm definitely not where I need to be for that. But you know, at some point I want to do a bodybuilding show. But that's not something that's on my mind every day or every other day or every week. It just kind of happens from time to time that I think about it. But then it's kind of fine that I'm not prioritizing that because it's really not something that means that much to me. It's not that much of a priority to me. So then, even if I don't work on achieving that goal, it's not gonna bother me in a year when I'm not any closer to getting on stage, for example, because it's fine. Whereas when I was 60 pounds heavier, that was weighing on me. Like that felt like a burden on me. That was weighing on me a lot, not just like physically how I looked, but also just lack of energy, being out of breath from just walking up like 2 flights of stairs or things like this. So this was something that was always on my mind. So if I didn't put in the work to get that weight down, if I looked back, kind of like if it was a year later and I had done nothing, if I look back, that would not feel great. Like I would, like it would, no matter what other things are going on in my life, this will always be on my mind as to like if I started a year ago, I would have been so far now. So the same thing applies for you. Like if you think back as to when you initially kind of wanted to start losing weight, or you think you should have, or basically like how long has this been on your mind? If it's been like months or years maybe, your life is probably not going to get any less busy. You can be like, oh yeah, no, but I'm going to graduate university, whatever. Yeah, and then you're going to get a job and it's still going to be busy. Or like something is going to happen that will make life just be a lot, because it is. But if you take, and it doesn't have to be big steps, again, if you take little steps to work towards those goals, it could be increasing your steps a little bit, or learning to track your food, or adding more protein into your diet, or whatever it is, just trying to go to the gym. And it doesn't have to be big things. You don't have to go to the gym from 0 to like 5 times a week. Just go once or twice a week. Like follow something, but do it in like small steps. And then when you look back a year from now, you will have made so much progress. Again, the amount of effort you put in is probably going to be, you know, the amount of what you sow is what you reap, I guess. But I hesitated to say that because I also don't want people to just rush into doing things. So I don't want you to just go into it being like, okay, it's Monday, no more sugar, no more bread. 5 days a week, I'm going to work out and do like 2 hours of cardio. No, don't do that either. But if instead of, let's just say, just adding a 10-minute walk, if you add like a 30-minute walk every day, that will be a little bit better. Obviously, you're going to be moving a little further. Or if you track your food, it's more so the consistency, I would say. If you track your food consistently every day, that's going to be better than tracking it once a week. But tracking it once a week is better than not tracking at all. So what, all in all, it's really all about finding the time to do little things to bring you closer to your goal, because it's never going to be the right time. Again, that right time is never going to fall into your lap. And that's just a hard truth that people do have to hear and don't want to hear. I feel like we know it at our core, but we just don't listen to it. We keep telling ourselves, yeah, but right now is just not the right time. Not the right time for what? Like, if it's your health and fitness, not the right time to just cook your food at home, or just make salads, or just adding a source of protein, or adding in a walk. Like, again, it doesn't have to be a whole 180 change. It could be so simple. Like if you're saying, for example, like that's a very good example too. If you're saying, I just don't have time to cook, like to meal prep on the weekend, because I'm so busy or whatever, so I only have time to cook like every day for the next day or something. Well, actually, meal prepping on the weekend will save you so much time during the week to meal prep. So if you allocate one night, one evening, or one day, or whatever, it could literally just be like an hour and a half that you allocate, and you could have your all your meals for the week prepared. I just did I think I posted on my Instagram story about that, about how this weekend I only had like an hour and a half, and I made like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks for, actually I made from Monday to Wednesday just because that's when I needed it for. I work from home on Thursdays and Fridays. Sometimes I like to do something different. But if I wanted to do for the whole week, I could have just added more ingredients and made the same thing just a little bit more. That wouldn't have taken much more time. But that's like, you don't need more than like 2 hours. Sometimes if you only have an hour, just make it in an hour. Like, it's so easy to get started that, again, it frustrates me when people say, I have been trying to lose weight, like to lose 30 pounds for like 3 years, but I just didn't. I couldn't. I couldn't do it because I've been so busy. You've been literally so busy in like 3 years that you had no time to work on better habits. You have to eat anyway, right? You have to eat food anyway, so why not eat better food? You have to go from A to B anyway, so why not, to put part of this, walking a little bit more? Even if that means just like leaving your car a little bit further and walking, if that's all you can do, then don't always pick the parking lot that's closest to the store, where you're like basically by the like the where the disabled parking lot is. I guess like that's like the closest. Some people even park like in there. I'm sure some people do, even though they shouldn't. But don't just park like next to it. Park a little bit further, and that's totally fine, and walk. Or again, just get a gym membership. It's really not that expensive at all. If it's like, I'm thinking like to even just go on the treadmill and go and walk. So you have so many options. You can just walk outside, first of all. If you don't have the means, just walk outside. Now, if it's, for example, Canadian winter and you don't want to be walking outside, either you get a treadmill or a walking pad, which I really recommend. I can put the link to my walking pad in the description, actually, because it's a lifesaver. When I work from home, I get so many steps in. I think last Thursday I got like 18,000 steps, and last Friday like 15,000 steps or something. I'm only aiming for 8,000, but sometimes I just have fun on there and I just stay there. But anyway, or a treadmill at home. Again, if you can't afford that, and if you don't want to walk outside, then just get a gym membership at the cheapest gym that you have. Some are like $10-15 a month. Like, you can get really cheap ones and just walk on the treadmill there, even if it's 30 minutes or something. But like doing something, I think that is just underrated. But yeah, so that's all. It's already 18 minutes. Like, what? Have I just been saying the same thing over and over again? Well, if I did, I hope that just kind of drilled it in about how there's never going to be a right time to get started in anything. It could literally just be get started. You don't have to tell anybody you're getting started, but just do something on your own to move the needle a little bit more, a little bit ahead. And to be honest, like, you got this. It's not that hard. It's, if you need help, obviously, like, you can reach out to me, for example. I'll leave the application form as well in the description box. But I feel like you have a few ideas of things that you could start implementing if you just prioritize what it is. And again, if health and fitness is not a priority, that's okay, but just be real with yourself. Think about the consequence of not doing anything for the next year, for the next 2 years, where you'll be then, if you're okay with that. If you're not okay with that, then start making changes now. I feel like that was a little bit of tough love. Hope people don't, you know what, if people get offended, I think that's okay too. It's not our job to just try to not offend people. Like, Obviously, just not trying to be mean, but that's something that I needed to hear when I was 60 pounds heavier, and sometimes I still need to hear too. So as a coach, I feel like it's my responsibility to give you that tough love, even if it's on podcast episode. But I hope you liked it. I hope that was actually valuable to you. Definitely let me know how it was, and if you have any questions at all, if you have any topic recommendations or ideas or things that you want me to talk about, let me know as well. And I'm happy to, create content. At the end of the day, I'm creating content that will provide you guys value. So if it's something that you have questions about, while I'm able to, as much as I'm able to, I will prioritize those ones, like those that I get questions on. I will make those first before making those that I just want to make, I guess. But yeah, have a good rest of your night or morning or wherever, whenever you're watching this, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.